Hello and welcome to On the Kerbs. I'm your host, Team Albers Daily. Joining me this week is British racing driver Aimèe Watts. We caught up a little while back to chat about how she got into racing a classic 1964 Mini, how 2023 has gone for her so far, how she felt racing a Citroen C1, who she rates as the best F1 driver on the 2023 grid, and a whole lot more. It was a very fun conversation and I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. So, hi Aimèe, thank you very much for being here today. First of all, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you doing?
Pretty good, thank you. So, first question I like to ask everyone that I chat to on here, what first got you interested in motorsport?
I've always been around motorsport. My dad was a racing driver, and it wasn't until my sort of late 20s that we kind of got in a conversation. It was actually a conversation over Christmas. We got in this sort of like argument about, it's a joking argument about if you had a son, they'd race with you and that kind of stuff, because I'm the only child. And I sort of said, well, I'd race with you. And he said, no, you wouldn't. I was like, yeah, I would. And we kind of made this bargain in front of our family after a couple of glasses of wine. And then we felt we had to stick to it. That was partly it. But I think also I didn't realize that you could do any cheap form of racing. So
What did you think you'd signed up for then?
Well, I thought, well, firstly, I've only seen racing like, historic racing, or you have to have big teams, and that's like massive. And it wasn't until I went down to a Citroen C1, like the 24-hour race. And that kind of brought the idea of like low cost, affordable racing into my sort of mind. So when he was like, fine, we can actually do it, we can do a C1 race, that seemed like a good option because you can crash the car, you don't have to fully commit. I bought our first C1 literally with cash off eBay for under £1,000. And it was like this old woman's car who didn't want to drive anymore. And we literally turned it into a race car for nothing. All the work at home. So that's kind of what got me into it, was this suddenly being aware that you don't have to fully commit to racing. Obviously I have now, but yeah, that's it.
I do kind of love that kind of tipsy argument. Oh, I'll go on then, I can do this. And it's kind of got out of hand a bit since then.
It really did. And like once we realized there was a cheap form, we didn't have an excuse to go back. So yeah, no. We're very, very proud people. So yeah.
And as well with Citroen C1, when you look at it, and if you're not across racing as such completely yet, you're not going to look at that and think, oh yeah, racing car.
No, not at all. God, no. I mean, when you're driving it, you're not thinking racing car either. But no, they're really good fun to race actually, because I've been in quite a few different things since then. And I have to say the C1s aren't actually easy because they're not designed to be a racing car. So they're really, really good for learning how to drive. They're not fast, but they are like putting them around.
You don't have to worry about that, so you can focus on everything else.
Yeah, exactly. And you feel like you feel like you're going so fast because the car is like screaming at you to slow down the entire time. Whereas you can, like the historic Mini that I drove, it moves around a lot more, but it was also designed to be a race car. So it feels, you can be going much faster and you feel like you're going slower. So
whereas the C1 just constant then.
Yeah, the C1 is amazing. It's quite funny because the corners always feel really hairy because, as I said, it's not designed to go around corners at any kind of speed. But on the straights, you literally have time to like, do the radio, think about life.
I was going to say, depending on the track you're on, I'm just thinking like Silverstone or something, that's quite a long straight. You could just be there, like just checking your watch, and we're nearly there yet.
Oh, 100%. You could take your gloves off and put them back on again and like, without any bother at all and still only be halfway down the straight.
I feel like there's some very comedic content creation potential there for at some point.
Yeah. There's a good series though, because there's so many people doing it. You've always got someone to race against. So I think the best way to start, if anyone's interested in starting motorsport, I would say go for a club like the C1s, because you always have competition. It doesn't matter if you wreck the car, because if you crash on the left side, you can go down to a breaker's car yard and find someone that crashed on the right side and get a whole wing for like 20 quid. So it's really affordable racing and it's actually super competitive.
So I'm sold.
Yeah.
So C1, was that your first racing experience then? And if so, where and when was it? And what was that whole experience like the first time out?
So we started, I think it was like 2019. So it was really late. So we really, really messed up on the first race. We had like, with club racing, you have to you have to, when it's single make, you have to really know the car, and there's a lot of tricks to the car that you'll learn throughout the season. So we turned up with this completely uncompetitive thing. And was it at Thruxton? I think it was at Thruxton. There's that kind of hill for the last chicane. We had the wrong gearbox. So there was like a massive jump to third. So you'd be coming up, you'd change from second into third, and suddenly the car would just like bog down. And I remember going up this straight, literally rocking forward, trying to like, out of frustration, trying to push the car. And there was a guy next to me doing the exact same thing.
Well, at least you're in the same boat a bit. You're just kind of, come on, we can do that.
We both had the wrong gearbox. So.
Oh dear. A very unique learning curve there, I feel like.
Yeah, but good one.
Yeah. So fast forward a little bit then, you're racing in a Mazda and in a 1964 Mini Cooper S kind of last year. Why these two, and was the Italian job responsible for the latter?
Do you know, I only saw the Italian job literally last year for the first time at Goodwood, and it
was
just
that what caused it?
It wasn't, but I was so happy that I was racing a Mini. I couldn't believe that I hadn't seen it up until that point. It's such a good film, isn't it? I'd love to say that inspired it, but if I'm honest, it's just one that was, Dad had one in the garage. He was like, that's one that he raced, and he said,
maybe he watched it and that's why he got it. Who knows?
Yeah, so he came up through Mini racing. That was his thing. And once I sort of stopped crashing the Citroen, he eventually said to me one day, "Do you want to do a race with me in the Mini?" Was
that stop crashing as in you just stopped racing in the Citroen, or you stopped crashing and you got better?
I continued racing and stopped crashing. So
okay, that's good.
Could say I got better, yeah. I had a habit of rolling them for a while because they roll really easily, Citroens. So I got like dubbed Rolly Watts for a while. You just have to literally touch a blade of grass, and unless you're completely straight, it will go over. But you can often carry on, which is quite good fun. But
so sturdy, I imagine, to an extent.
They're really sturdy. Like, I literally saw someone come around the fast left at Snetterton once, hit the curb, go bounce, come back onto his wheels, and then just like carry on the race. And they didn't come last. It was
impressive.
Yeah, there's not many series you can see that happening.
I'm kind of getting Clarkson vibes with the Reliant Robin there. It's like you can put it through any kind of damage, but just stick it back on the wheels, it's fine. Off you go again.
Oh, 100%. I wish that they should have done a Top Gear special on the Citroen C1s. That would have been incredible.
Next Grand Tour special, maybe. Need to write.
Yeah. But no, Minis came just because, you know, I really like historic cars, and the Citroens are kind of like a less version of the Minis, and it kind of seemed like a bit of a natural progression. And it was a bit of a whim that we found this shared endurance race at Snetterton, and Dad just said, you know, why don't we do this race together, see how you get on. And I ended up actually not letting him drive. I did the race by myself, which I really enjoyed. But yeah, I fell in love with the Mini. I think that have you ever been in a classic Mini?
Been in one, but I haven't driven one.
They're good fun. I highly recommend anyone, if you're into cars, just get a go in a classic Mini.
So I think I'm just going to copy what you've been doing here. Get in the Citroen first and then do the Mini afterwards.
It's a good route.
I'll definitely send the Mazda then. What was the story there?
So the Mazdas, once I sort of decided that I was, you know, want to actually continue racing, and it's not just, well, hopefully it won't just be a hobby forever. Everything, all the bigger classes are rear-wheel drive, so it just seemed like we need to do some practice in rear-wheel drive. And the Mazda MX-5, the championship, the Super Cup, is known as like one of the most competitive, if not the most competitive club championship we do. And the competition is amazing. Some really good drivers in there. And we looked at doing the Miata. There's like a Miata championship. There's a couple of like Mark 1 series. And in the end, we just thought, let's just not waste time. Let's go straight for the Mark 3 series and see how I get on. Learn how to race a mini racing car, which is exactly what they are.
So throw yourself in the deep end and see what happens.
Yeah.
So how did last year go for you then in terms of all the racing?
Really well. So I've only just started the Mazdas this year. But last year was just a great year. It was my first kind of proper full season because, as I said, I started in lockdown. So like at one point I had 3 race licenses.
Of all the habits to pick up during lockdown, you know.
I know, right? It was so frustrating. I literally had I'd done 3 races and I had 3 race licenses over 3 years. It was ridiculous. So last year was my first proper season, and it was amazing. When you're doing something on a regular basis, you can really see your level of improvement. It's a bit like, when you go skiing, if you go skiing for a week, by day one, you're crap. And then by the end of it, you've really got your head around it. Then you go off home and you don't do it for a year. And it's just like, you lose everything again. But last year, it kind of felt like I'd done a month skiing, and actually got my head around it.
Give me a black slope.
Yeah, exactly. With my eyes shut. Maybe not that quite. But yeah.
No, so then plans for this year, like you say, you got the Mazda, you got the Mini. Those going to be the main focuses. Is the Mini kind of there to keep you kind of in touch with everything, and then to keep up with the Mazda, or what's kind of the plan there?
The priority is going to be the Mazda. So we have a race team at home, Paddock Watts Racing. He's always run other people's cars. So now he's running my cars, and also my teammate. We're running 2 Mazdas this year. Mm-hmm. So that'll pretty much be the priority. And whatever other drives I can get in the meantime. I mean, if we could do a few mini races, that'd be great. I'm absolutely dying to race at Goodwood, but I don't know if that's just a bit of a pipe dream. I might write a really nice.
You never know.
begging, please let me drive that. But as for us, I'm not sure how many other races we can do outside Mazdas. But I have been offered a couple of the drives with other people. A great race with Tina Cooper the other weekend in her classic Mini, which was really good fun.
I was going to ask about that. How was it teaming up with her?
It was cool. God, it's really hectic driving somebody else's car. It's the first time I've done that.
How's it hectic?
You feel more responsibility, not to fuck it, basically. Sorry.
No, this isn't one of those where you got to watch your language. You're good.
Oh, good, because I keep replacing like swear words with the word rubbish, and it sounds really weird. That's great. The pressure not to fuck it is massive, especially when it's not your car. It was a shared drive, so I made sure she got in the car first. So at least if I did, crash.
Yeah, it's your fault if you go first.
Yeah, or at least you've got to drive. But no, Tina's an awesome driver. She was like one of the first women to ever win a championship in the UK. She won the Mini 7, so that was quite an honour to drive with her. She does all the mechanics on her own car as well, so I was a bit like in awe at the same time. It's kind of mini fangirling whilst driving.
Trying to find that balance. Like, no, stop thinking about that and focus on the actual racing. Just so that it
was really good fun, and she has said she wants to drive with me again. But yeah, it's great. I did qualifying, and I put the car on the front row, so I qualified second, which was cool. It's quite fun, like being up against an E-Type Jag on the front row, like it's a tiny little Mini.
I think you are in some kind of classic British film there, don't you? Then
it was a joke, but it was great. But that was a wet qualifying, so obviously the Mini's great. And in the end, we won our class, and I think we came.
Did you think you were going to win your class coming into the weekend, or were you just completely like, oh, this is just going to be a nice way to spend some time?
Honestly, I had no idea. I was just thinking, don't fucking crash it. That was my main priority. That was what I really. I try not to go into it. I'm quite a superstitious person, so I always carry like a rock in my pocket, and I don't like to think. Some people have that, like, yes, I am going to win. I don't believe in that. I just want to like be safe.
You just don't want to crash. You just want to finish.
Yeah, I'm like, be safe and fast. Be safe and fast. Like that's my priority. And I haven't raced that club before, so I had no idea what the competition was like. And this probably isn't very professional, but I don't like to check up on the other drivers because it's, I don't like to psych myself out.
You might get in your own head about it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You don't want to. You're already panicking enough as it is from the sounds of it beforehand. You don't need to be adding on to that.
Yeah, I've got this massive fear of embarrassment. I can't handle being like the woman who crashed or something like that. And I've got to get that out of my head, but it kind of becomes the whole.
So you only just got rid of the nickname from earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
So Mini racing, Mazda racing sounds like a lot of fun. Is there another kind of fun racing related story that you could share that you've got in the back pocket somewhere?
A fun racing story. Well, we're going to be doing the 24-hour Citroen race. Back to Citroens again, sorry. We are going to do a 24-hour race this year, and I've got to complete this race because so far we've done it twice, and I've managed to roll both times. One of them last year, someone dove up the inside of me 15 minutes before the end of a 24-hour race and turned the car into the exact same corner that in the previous year I rolled the car again on my own back, and I managed to break my leg completely and ended up in like a leg brace for nearly a year.
But I did wonder when I saw the pictures.
Yeah. But everyone else asked like, how do you do it? I was like, oh yeah, in a racing car. But the truth is, I like did this tiny little crack in my leg in the race car. I then climbed out the side of the race car to jump down and basically
Oh
landed
no.
like a sack of potatoes and just went through my entire knee. So
Ooh.
it's basically exiting the car like a pig is how I broke my knee.
I do kind of love that you crash and you're kind of more or less fine, and then you jump out and finish
Yeah,
yourself off. Like, oh, don't worry, Citroen, I'll carry that through for you.
absolutely. And the worst it was, a marshal offered me his hand to help me get down. I was like, oh no, I'm fine.
Oh, oh, I'd love to see the look on his face. There's like, on one hand, concern, on the other hand, told you.
Oh yeah. I played it cool. I actually managed to get up the next day and qualify, and I didn't go to the hospital until like a week later. And then you don't have any ligaments in your knee left. How are you walking?
You would have done well racing in the 60s and 70s, I think. You've got that kind of
Yeah.
attitude.
Yeah.
I've got an injury, but I'll deal with it after the season's finished.
Absolutely. Well, they gave yeah, exactly. After the whole lockdown fiasco, I wasn't going to give up like what was left of the season to sit at home after surgery. So also cool points, racing and leg brace.
Oh no, you're definitely getting those in bucket and spades from me.
We actually ended up on the podium with a leg brace as well, so winning. So that was like a good moment.
No, that's pretty impressive, actually, to be fair. So that's nice one, nice one. I remember what I was going to ask now. I was going to say, you say you're a bit of a superstitious person, rock in the pocket. Have you got any pre-race rituals that you do?
Yeah. So every time before me or my teammate or anyone that I care about gets in a car, I have to have a private word with the world. So I like
Okay.
sit literally in the assembly area with my hands on the car, just talking to the world for a second to keep the driver safe and fast. And
Do
you've
you
got to
have
really
if it's someone else, do you bring them next to you when you do that, or do they not have to be there, or what's kind of talk me through it?
I try not to make too much of a scene, but a few people have started to notice. And so that was Amy's thing. But if I could hold their hand, I would. But I think they just like to take my concentration away and rip me for it because it's all just young boys that race with us, so they just wouldn't get it.
Oh, fair enough. And any specific rock in the pocket? I'm picturing a very small figurine of Dwayne Johnson, but it's probably not that.
So every time we're packing up for a race, my mum and dad, because that's what the cars are, we have like they've got gravel outside, and it's never any one stone. But every time we're about to go racing, I'll be walking across the gravel at some point, and one rock will like just jump out of the
Okay.
blue. Yeah. So they find me. I don't find the rocks; they find me.
I don't have something I could say to that. I'm just like, it's just different.
Yeah, no, I don't judge you for that. Don't worry. I'm actually looking at my pictures lined up, just like rocks I've collected over the years. It's just
So you'll have enough for your own gravel drive at this rate.
yeah, literally.
So I've done a lot of these kind of interviews. First time I've ever had to deal with rocks and good luck charms on that side of things. So it's nice to know that there's something always refreshing coming into it.
Didn't David Cool thought I'd have like a pair of lucky pants he used to always wear?
Possible, but I've not interviewed him.
Fair enough. Okay, that's word on the street.
I'm going to say if I get around to it at some point, I'll ask him to say like, right, there's this one person, she's got rocks. The trousers thing for you, or you rocks as well? We can have compare and
I think
contrast.
it's actually underwear, not even trousers, like British pants, But which makes me wonder what he
Yeah.
does racing for like 3 days in a row.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to know the answer to that now. I think some things are better left just not known.
Okay.
So you're saying about the 24 hours with the Citroen, and obviously I'm thinking that's a bucket list thing that you just want to be able to complete after the last two not going to plan. Do you
Yeah.
do you have any other bucket list racing ambitions for the future?
So the Goodwood Revival is like a really big one that I'd love to do, just because I've been to that event every year for the last like 15 years or something like that. At this stage of I was actually chatting to my boyfriend about this today, of what I kind of would like to do. And to be honest, anything. I don't really have like a specific path in mind right now. I feel like this was such an unexpected. I wasn't expecting to be in motorsport, so I haven't grown up with this. Like, oh, I really want to be in BTCC, or I really want to race. There's nothing like that. The only thing I don't want to do is be a rally navigator. So I think that's terrifying. Anything else, I will, I'll take the offer.
No, I agree with you. The more rally co-drivers I talk to, the more I think, no, if anything, I'd want to be the driver. And even then, still in rallying, I'm not sure about that because at least I'd have a steering wheel. If I'm the
Yeah,
co-driver,
exactly.
there's bugger all you can do about that.
Oh God, no! I literally can't even sit in the car with my mum. As soon as she goes above 40, I'm like clutching onto like the side of the car, asking her to slow down. So like, no, I
That's
could not.
quite amusing parallel considering what you do when you're at the other side of the car.
I know. So many people that I know that race are really bad passengers. Like I cannot be the passenger in a car. I'd rather like walk sometimes than be the passenger.
Mystery, another mystery. I have no idea what that. Got some quick fire-ish questions. Some of us, but some not to finish things off then. So, best driver on the F1 2022 grid.
Oh God, I'm really rooting for Alonso.
I think we all are. That's fair. I can't be mad at that answer. We want him to win.
I would really like him to win. He's doing such a good job. It's kind of like that, then like that, and now he's like on this uprise, and I think we're all just like cheering him on.
Well, I think again last year everyone just kind of had the same head slap moment when we saw he was going to Aston Martin, and Florence was like, "Oh, it was actually a good decision for a change." Excellent.
Well, yeah, didn't look too good for some people, but yeah.
Well, it's not. We'll focus on one side.
No, yeah.
So I know you're saying that you didn't grow up with motorsport, but I'm guessing that you've since learned a few things about it. So I'm curious, do you have a favourite driver from history?
In history,
Hmm.
to be honest, no. Like, and as soon as you said that, my mind's gone completely blank. There's been a few like ladies I vote for because I've seen like this cool thing, but I actually didn't really know much about them before I saw like the one Instagram post.
Hmm.
I think it'd be a cliche to say James Hunt and Senna. Also a cliche.
I would say I feel like I'd be cheating for you a little bit.
Yeah.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. Pizza or lasagna?
Oh God, lasagna. Oh no, pizza. 100% pizza. Oh,
The shock on your face when you realised.
Yeah, I would never normally go faster. 100% pizza. Pizza.
She's getting confused now. She's trying to combine the two of them.
Lasagna.
Hiking in winter or sunbathing in summer?
Sunbathing in summer because I'm not. Yeah, it feels skiing in winter, but the sunbathing in summer.
Favorite film? Now he's got a.
I've just seen a really good documentary called Everything and Nothing, and I watched it 2 nights in a row. Have you seen it?
I think I might have. Remind me because the name sounds familiar.
It's the one like space and like quantum physics and relativity and
No,
stuff.
it's on my list. I was looking because I was trying to decide what to watch the other day, and it was on the list. That's why it's.
I recommend. That's my new favorite.
This weekend I shall do that. I'll message you. It was great.
Yeah. Oh yay! I'm excited.
And then, would you rather have fingers for toes or toes for fingers?
Fingers for toes.
Are you driving then with the seat way back and feet up then?
Oh wait, so I don't have any fingers. So the
No.
things I have in my body, my toe. Oh shit.
I've asked this question before and someone tried using it. I was like, no, I've got to make it difficult this time. It's too easy otherwise.
Okay, fingers for toes. I think fingers for toes still.
Still, okay.
I would like to live with it.
Yeah. It'd be amusing, but yeah.
Oh, that's a really weird one. What would you go for?
Oh no, now I'm put on the spot with my question. Hoisted on my own petard. Yeah, I'll probably have to agree and just learn how to live with it because I feel fingers are just more useful than toes. You can learn to do stuff with toes, but I feel like fingers is just you already know what you're doing there.
Exactly. Also, like really stubby fingers. Is what could you do with them?
Yeah, it's not good. Yeah, no, just be useless. Why do I choose these questions to end interviews with? I need to rearrange some of these. It's my own bloody fault. Anyway, never mind. Main thing is, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you, and I want to thank you for all your time here today. And I'm going to be rooting for you for the rest of 2023, and wish you the best of luck with it all.
Thank you very much for having me on. It's lovely to speak to you.
Thanks again to Aimèe for coming onto the Kerbs with me. I can't wait to see how she gets on in the 2023 racing season. If you want to follow Aimèe's career, links to her socials will be in the description below, so do go and check those out. Join me again next time when I'll be chatting to another famous face from the world of motorsport. In the meantime, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as check out the back catalogue of episodes over on the On the Kerbs channel. If you want even more from me, you can listen to me chat about everything Formula 1 over on the Undercut Podcast, as well as delving into the world of Nitro Rallycross over on the Nitro RX Podcast. Both available wherever you get your podcasts. As for written content, I currently write for Is It Fast, Paddock Sorority, and Paddock Passion, so be sure to check all of them out with original pieces released each week. All of the information and links for those will be in the description below, as well as my Instagram handle if you want to go and follow me there. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll be back soon with another episode.